can tell, I have another guest with me, Jeff Crabtree. I'm telling you, Jeff is one of my favorite guys working through the Kentucky Baptist Convention. And I've asked him to come and talk a little bit about the work he does and what the KBC does that maybe we don't know about. All we know is the Kentucky Baptist Convention or KBC or cooperative program. But I want Jeff to explain what he does, how he does it, and how your giving helps him do what he does. And Jeff,
that's
you
a
and I,
big task.
You've got 13 minutes, okay? We've known each other for quite a few years, and when he was at Warren Association of Baptists as their Director of Missions or Association Mission Strategist, somehow he and I got connected, and I was struggling some with Sunday school. He drove to Smith Grove, and we met there at a McDonald's. And he sat down and helped me talk through Sunday school. And I wasn't even in his association. And I think from that day forward, you've been the guy that I've called when I needed help.
Kevin, you've been a friend. We've had some fun. We've seen what God's done, and it's been good to get to know you.
Yes. Well, I showed our folks a video about the cooperative program and the work that does and the way that we have given and have done really well for a church this size. I wanted you here to put a face on Kentucky Baptist Convention. Tell us what you do and how you've seen that role develop over the years.
So in December of this year, I came back on the Kentucky Baptist Convention staff as a regional consultant. I actually get to live in Bowling Green. I have a territory that runs from Adair County in Columbia all the way to Owensboro, down to the line, down to the Tennessee state line in Central Time. So I've got 441 churches in the region that I'm responsible for, several associations, those kind of things. And so I actually get to work with churches, associations, ministry leaders in areas of what we call church revitalization areas. So church health, working on Sunday school, those kind of things, from pastor search teams to deacons training to Sunday school training. There's just so many things, you know. We get called in for churches. I met with a pastor this morning who they're working on building a church, and so we're helping him to lay out a capital fundraising campaign for his church. So, you know, it's really quite different because there's not just one thing we do or these 10 things we do, typically working through pastors. And, you know, I'm really grateful. I get to be a missionary, and as churches like yours invest into a cooperative program, you kind of go with me. I mean, you put gas in the car, you place resources in my trunk, you allow me to be put in a situation where I'm resourced to help pastors. This morning, before that last meeting with the building, was with a small church who was basically a replant, and met with a pastor, a youth minister, and the treasurer. And we were developing a process of how he could help get people who are coming to church engaged in different ministry areas. So just, it's really kind of like the buffet. Whatever you need.
That's it, whatever you need. And what is so helpful about you living in this area, and we can call you, I can call you, and within a matter of days, you're stopping by, or I can call and we just talk things over the phone. When I first got into Kentucky Baptist Convention life, it seemed like everything to do with the Kentucky Baptist Convention happened at the building in Louisville. You had to go there. And for me at that time, it was a 4-hour drive, so I went very few times. But when Dr. Paul Chitwood became executive director, he had an idea. And talk about that a little bit.
Okay. So I was serving as director of missions in Warren County at the time, and about 2010 or 11, Dr. Mackey retired. Dr. Chitwood came in and wanted to bring the convention to the churches. And so one of the ideas was to put guys in the field and allow them to become the coordinator for churches in that area, so that we were a little bit closer to the churches. And so that kind of transpired with 5 guys. It started out with 5. I was one of the original 5. The first 4 years I was with the convention, and we tried to do everything, just the five of us. Since then, what we've seen is the convention staff has grown a little bit, especially with people who are working outside the building. And we've got our team, church revitalization team, but we also have an evangelism team. So we have an evangelism strategist that we have two of those in the state that work. They've kind of split the state in half, and one's got the east, one's got the west. We've got a mission strategist for each side of the state, so we have two of those. We have church planner strategist, and so those are more specific. My role is more of a generalist. I guess you would say we're there to kind of listen to your needs and connect you. If we can't do it, connect the church to that next need.
And that has been so valuable because oftentimes, and this may sound a little odd, but sometimes you know there's something wrong, but you don't know what you
That's
need.
right. That's right.
And you don't have anybody to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, pastors, no matter the size of the church, from 3 to 3,000, can call one of you guys and say, here's the problem, and you immediately know then who to start tapping into to help them work on that problem.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's really been helpful, there's a pastor in Owensboro, relatively new to the state, came from Florida, and I ran into him just Monday, and he was telling me about a situation he needs some help with, and I just left there last week, and he said, well, the next time you're by, I said, well, I can come. He says, I hate to ask you to come back. And I said, I'm going to be your best non-paid employee you have. but really the cooperative program is that funding that allows me to do what God's given me a call to do. And so, you folks from Horse Cave go with me, and we go to Owensboro, or we were in Scottsville this morning. We were in Glasgow at lunch, and that's just kind of where we go. So, yeah, it's really kind of a unique way. We talked a little bit before we started. Kentucky's an unusual state, and we were the first state to come up with this regional strategist mode. And since then, which was in 2012, since then many state conventions have embraced our model, and it's been a model that a lot of states can embrace and do. And so there's other guys out there. In fact, it's kind of neat that our team leader, Steve Rice, is part of a state convention revitalization team. He's the chairman of the team this year. We're all going to meet together in California, but we're all coming together and we're learning from each other. Been multiple states learning from each other. So there's some things that we can all do from any Baptist church, but I think the key thing that we've been able to do, and we talked a little bit about this, is we as a team have developed specific Kentucky resources for the local church at no charge. Our first piece that we put together was a 40-day prayer guide. And that 40-day prayer guide we wrote when I first went on the convention staff in 2012. December 2012, we finished that piece. And it's been sent to every state in the United States.
Really?
Yeah. And other state conventions are using our piece, and which is an honor for us. We should be prideful about that. God gave us that initiative. Since then we've rolled out multiple pieces to help our local churches, and probably sometime midsummer we'll have a deacons training resource piece out. So, I'd say we're probably up to 15 or 20 pieces that we've written as a team, just a church revitalization team, to help Kentucky Baptist churches.
Because you know Kentucky Baptist churches.
Well, because it's specifically for Kentucky Baptist churches.
You know us because you're out here with us.
Yeah.
That's been so encouraging to me, and to know that when we give through the cooperative program, we give 10% through the cooperative program of undesignated funds. And you said a while ago, this is the first state to do the regional consultant. Wasn't Kentucky the first state to start the cooperative program? Murray, Kentucky?
Yeah, 1928.
I mean, you talked, there's something about Kentucky.
How much did y'all give in 1928?
$588.
Yeah, how about that?
So
That's a lot of money.
That was a lot of money just
Yeah.
before the Depression.
Yeah.
And you told me a while ago that,
What was that like to live through?
it was tough, but I was tougher then. I was tougher then.
Folks, Sam's behind the camera. He's dying laughing.
Yes, those cows milk the same in 28s they did in 58. So it's pretty much the same.
Anyway, yeah.
But no, I think up to now, you looked it up for us, and it's like 1,200,000 and some
Yeah.
that we have given through the cooperative program since 1928. So it's just
Yeah.
been amazing.
So you know, the convention for the normal member at Horse Cave Baptist Church, the convention is something they hear from you or from Sam or maybe deacons. I mean, those are people that I have seen over my years of working with this church. You know, but you don't see a lot of us if you just sat on the pew on Sunday morning, unless that's a member that we are. You know, my home church is telling me, "You haven't been to see us lately." Well, you know, no, I'm out in a church on Sunday morning. You know, I get calls to fill pulpits. I get calls to come and help us with this. I do a lot of pastor search things, and you know, your AMS, Lynn and I work pretty close hand in hand with trying to get him resources and talking about bigger pieces. So, you know, we just become a partner. And I guess that's the word I want to use is not only are you and I partners that we began with a Sunday school problem back years ago, but we continue to be a partner in missions and the expansion of the gospel, and your church members. It's a bigger piece. So I like to say when we see a baptism in a sister church, we're part of that some way in Southern Baptist Convention.
Yeah.
When we see a new church plant, we're part of that. So, yeah.
I think the encouragement to me and the reason why I wanted you to come and talk is to put a face on all this giving that we've done in the Kentucky Baptist Convention. We hear about that, but it's just an entity. But this shows, no, it's feet on the ground. I mean, I can call any moment and get any resource I need. If not from you, you could direct me to somebody else. That's why I tell you oftentimes, there's never a meeting I attend, there's never a man like I sit down with Jeff right now, who are funded through the cooperative program, that I don't walk away glad I'm a Kentucky Baptist and glad that we are a Kentucky Baptist. Because the funding that we give just to help, keep a guy like this around is worth every dime that we put into that because of so much. And the thing about it, we're helping little churches who couldn't call a guy in.
You know, that's a good point. And I know we're getting close to wrap, but I want you to think about that as you're sitting home watching this. Is God's called us in the Great Commission. He's told us to go. You know, you're going to a lot of places that you'll never see. And I get to see some of those places. But we're giving, but we're going to a lot of places we'll never see. And I bumped into a friend of mine who works for the International Mission Board just yesterday, and we were talking about Dr. Chitwood, who's now the executive director and president of the International Mission Board. And did you know that he was in Europe during the Ukraine uprising? And he was there for a meeting with pastors. And he found a way to get a plane ticket to Poland so that he could go see firsthand. So when I say that, he was sending resources to Poland. So guess what? We were all going to Poland. We were making a difference through the International Mission Board, through our cooperative program giving. So we're just, it's a bigger entity. We don't know how big it is. So you may be living in Horse Cave, Kentucky, but you're making an impact today in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
That's why we won't know till we get to heaven what all little things that we've done have affected the kingdom and how other people have affected us that they never knew.
Yeah.
That's what's going to be so wonderful to see is how God worked all the kingdom together to do the work.
Dr. Chitwood gave us a kind of a theme, kind of gave us a motto, and Dr. Gray has kept it.
I'm glad you're going to say it because it's so good. Tell them what it is.
So we're created by churches, for churches, to help churches reach Kentucky and the world for Christ. That's our mission statement.
That's so cool. Say that again.
So we are created by churches. The Kentucky Baptist Convention is created by churches, for churches, to reach churches, to help them to reach Kentucky and the world for Christ.
And the world for Christ. That is so. That sums it up. KBC is created by churches, for churches, to help churches reach the world for Christ. And Jeff is just one of those guys that's doing that. And thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you. What a
blessing.
Thank
you for being a part of our Wednesday night Bible study.
Absolutely. I hope you have a good one.
Good deal. Let's have prayer together. Father, I personally am grateful for the work that you do through this church to reach out and help not just us, but to help other churches through men like Jeff, and for the hours and hours that they spend on the road touching individual churches that maybe have no idea what to do next. I'm thankful for the opportunity to give, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to receive as we get a chance for Jeff to come by and help us over the years. So Father, help us to continue to be faithful to give, to go, and to reach out to one another in love. In Jesus' name, amen.